Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I had a very productive Monday and I was up early this morning. Really not on my own. The thunder this morning ended up waking me up. It also woke Jack up. It was like really bad out. I ended up waking up at, I think it was like 9 or 9:30 or 8 something maybe. Maybe right around 8 o'clock. But all of a sudden there was this huge big boom of thunder that lasted for probably a good like 10, 15, 20 seconds, something like that. And Jack said the same thing too. He was like, it wouldn't have been that bad if it didn't last so long. It was like, it was loud, but then on top of that too, it just like kept going. And so but when I actually woke up from it, because I was like, oh my gosh, like what was that? I woke up from it and Charlie was sitting at the end of my bed like so nervous. Like he kept like looking at me like, what is that? Like, is it okay? Like, you know, like it woke you up, like, you know, sort of thing. Like it must not be a good thing if you just woke up over it. So like I said, he kept like sort of staring at me and I was like, oh, like it's okay. So then I like called him over like up, you know, to me, because I normally sleep like down at the foot of the bed. So I called him up to me and I was like, it's okay, like, you know, don't worry, Charlie. So like I said, he was definitely a little nervous about that. But it ended up actually like raining for maybe, like I said, it was maybe to like 9:30 or something like that, no later than 10 o'clock that it kept like raining for. But the thunder almost seemed to stop after we heard that huge loud like boom of thunder. So that's what woke me up this morning. But I know it woke Jack up too, because I heard it and then like 10, 15, 20 minutes later, something like that, I hear him come downstairs. So I was like, it had to have woken him up too. And then he was finally like, okay, I'm gonna get out of bed, which is sort of what I did almost the exact same time too. And then I asked him this afternoon, I was like, did you hear that thunder this morning? Did it wake you up? And he was like, yeah, I heard it and it woke me up. And then I came downstairs and I was like, I figured as much. So yes, anyways, I ended up getting 2 dishes today. I ended up doing laundry. I ended up editing. I had 2 vlogs to edit, because I did edit actually on Saturday, but I did not yesterday. So I had 2 days worth of videos, like yesterday's and Saturday's, that I had to edit today. So I ended up doing that. And I was able to get all of that done and taken care of. But it was nice that like last Monday, I think because I didn't edit any day over the weekend, at Saturday or Sunday, so I had 3 days, you know, like 3 vlogs that I had to edit. And it was nice because I actually only had 2 that I had to get caught up with. And I was able to do that. I ended up doing my Meyer grocery list. I made that in addition to, that was on my planner. I got that done while I was editing at the same time. And then I also uploaded like first thing this morning too, and got out of my room this morning. I ended up uploading, and then I came in here and ended up making my breakfast, because the thing was too is that at Aldi yesterday they were out of the hash brown patties, so I don't have those for my breakfast, so I have to make avocado toast, which is fine with me. But it normally, like, instead of just like for the what's it called, when I make like the hash browns, I just like throw them in the oven and it takes 10 seconds, or 10 seconds, it takes 10 minutes on either side. So I just normally like preheat the oven. I'll go and like start gathering the clothes up for the laundry, then it's preheated, I'll come in here, throw them in the oven, or I might like wash dishes from like the night before or whatever, then I'll throw them in the oven. 10 minutes, it takes me 10 minutes to get all the laundry done normally in the morning, 10 minutes to take care of the dishes. Sometimes it's even less than that, and I'm able to go and water everything. Of course today I didn't have to because it was raining, and I probably won't really need to tomorrow either. I'm thinking that like Wednesday I probably have to go and do that again. It's also not supposed to be very hot either. It's only supposed to be like in the 70s, like high to mid 70s this week. It's actually not going to be that hot. But I probably won't actually really need to water the vegetable garden. It's just all the hanging baskets, the window boxes, the potted plants, all that stuff dries out really quickly. But since it's not going to be that hot again, I'm thinking I could probably wait until Wednesday to take care of all of those. And so like I said, I'll do that, but like normally within 20 minutes I can get all 3 of those things done. So then again, normally that's when after my breakfast is ready, and I will go and then start like uploading and or editing. So, but today, like I said, because of that, I was like, okay, well now I'm not just like, it doesn't just take me 20 minutes, because in addition to that, I don't just throw something in the oven. I have to actually make the toast, make, you know, smash the avocado. I have to cut it up, you know, like, and again, it doesn't take that long, but compared to just throwing 2 patties on a tray and throwing them in the oven, it's definitely a little bit more work. So, like I said, I ended up doing that this morning though, but I still got to everything else. And then I ended up, like I said, I edited while I was making my Meijer list, which it looks like there's actually some pretty decent deals at Meijer this week too. Again, a couple of like grocery deals, some household deals. It looks like some personal care stuff. And the funny thing is too, is that it sounds like we just ran out of men's deodorant. My dad just asked about it. And so I was like, I found a couple of different deals on men's deodorant at Meijer this week. So I was like, hey, like I can actually do like stock us back up a little bit anyway. And I saw this earlier today, and then this afternoon when my dad was like, do we have deodorant? And I was like, if we did, if we have any left, it would be in the bin. And apparently there was none left up there. So I was like, it's okay, I got you, like Saturday. So long as he has enough, hopefully for Saturday, can wait until then, I can, like I said, get that deal from Meijer. And it's, like I said, stock back up a little bit in those. So anyways, what I thought I'd share with you guys though for today was I was doing a little bit of Pinteresting, because I'm trying to find out, even though I'm happy with making zucchini bread, I don't mind, I'm happy to make it, eat it, and share it if we have to. I was looking at some other recipes to do with like zucchini along with green beans too, because although actually today with dinner I ended up, I'll tell you guys what I made for dinner, but to go with it I ended up steaming green beans, and I cooked them for a lot longer, and I feel like that's pretty good, because the ones from the garden, the outer like skin sort of is a tad bit tougher than I feel like sometimes like the stuff from the grocery store maybe. And like even too, it's not just like they're overripe or underripe, like sometimes even the smaller ones seem like they were still like that. So like I said, well, not like overripe, but like the really big ones, my mom said sometimes they'll get really tough. But like I said, even the smaller ones, because I was really conscious to make sure I was picking them while they were still small, which is what I tried to do with the zucchini, and now it's just totally out of control. But it'll be like, honestly, I'll go like 2 days without checking the garden and I will find another foot-long zucchini. And I was like, really? There's another one out there. And I didn't even see it when it was like little. I don't know how this ended up happening. So anyways though, I steamed them for a lot longer today and they were so good. My mom even commented on how good they were. So we ended up doing that as a side dish, but for dinner tonight I ended up making chicken pot pie. So what I ended up doing was Matthew, I think I told you guys like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, something like that, we ended up getting that the chicken thighs. They were the bone in those, skin on chicken thighs from Walmart. And we ended up picking up the frozen bag, and it was a 4-pound bag. I ended up using 2 pounds to make him for lunch the 1 week, and then the following week he never like wanted, like, I don't know, not wanted me to make them, but like never said anything or anything like that either. And then 2, he like didn't have, that was when we were taking, I think he was originally supposed to take Wednesday off, but then there was a day I think that he ended up like he didn't work Friday, like, so this was last week. He didn't work Friday because he was actually leaving or partially going back on Friday, officially left on Saturday. But because of that too, when we were supposed to have Wednesday off, I think he figured like, oh, it's only gonna be 3 days, like I don't need you to make that like chicken this week or whatever. So I think he just never ended up mentioning it. So I was like, you know what, since we've got that out there and it's another 2 pounds of chicken that again is kind of expensive right now, I don't want it to go to waste, and I don't want to leave it sitting out there and then forget about it really, because again it's frozen so it'll stay good for a while. I just don't want to lose it in the freezer. And on top of that too, because I'd have to cook it anyway, I might as well cook it and make it into something ahead of time. So I cooked it in the slow cooker this morning. I ended up just like cooking it in water, and then I find that it's most tender and easy to like shred up and sort of like cut up when it's in, like I cook it in the slow cooker in water. So I just filled it enough so that it covered it, and it's sort of like it just like boils it. So I ended up doing that. And then, like I said, it was super easy to shred, pull apart all the bones that were in there and everything like that. So I had like again, it was maybe 3 or so cups worth of chicken, you know, like the chicken thighs, the actual meat of the chicken that was left. And so I ended up turning that into 4 chicken pot pies. So I did 1 for dinner tonight, and then I froze another 3 of the filling. So I ended up adding some fresh thyme from the garden. I also ended up adding some of the like frozen mixed vegetables, which I found in the freezer. I was gonna pick that up at Aldi, but luckily I went out to the freezer before I decided to go and check, and found what was I gonna say, I found 2 bags of that. So I ended up making those. And then I also have I had 4 cans of like chicken gravy in the pantry, so I ended up using 2 of those. And so I split everything. I like sort of like doubled the recipe and then ended up splitting it, and then ended up turning them into, like I said, about 4 freezer dinners in total. But I ended up like freezing just the filling, which was the chicken like with the thyme and like the seasoning with the gravy and the frozen vegetables. So now I have that frozen, so when I want to make those, like I might make one next week, all I have to do is just defrost the packet ahead of time, and then can just add it to the pie filling and then end up making it. I could even warm it up like on the stove top, like in a saucepan, and then end up adding it to like the pie and, you know, like the pie crust, and then throw it in the oven like that and cook it pretty much the exact same way. So like I said, that's what I was planning on doing. But I ended up making that. So I have got, instead of just a 2-pound package of frozen chicken thighs outside, I have now got 3 more freezer dinners that I added to the freezer, all in the span of just making dinner, because I just basically made the dinner bigger and then ended up splitting it and freezing it, which is super convenient too when you can do that. Like if it's something where, like again, you're cooking like a casserole or whatever, you can always just double the casserole and then freeze like half of it for, again, like future, you know, use. And then again too, it's less work that I have to do on the day when I plan on making it next. Like I said, I might make another one next weekend and then wait a little while and then possibly make some more a little bit later. But I think that we still have got the pie crust in the fridge. I've got 1 more, so that's why I want to use that up as well. So I'm going to get that, like do it next week, just so that I can use that pie crust, and then I can wait with the other ones until I get more pie crust. So that's why I'm going to do that. But I thought I'd also show you guys, because I mentioned yesterday how my mom ended up taking like a half loaf of bread to one of her co-workers yesterday, and in exchange our zucchini bread, and she ended up giving us some from her garden. She had cucumbers, and she ended up actually making pickles with them. So I'm excited to try them out. I'll show you guys what they look like. So these are the pickles. You guys can see down there, it looks like they're like dill. So I'm assuming they're like dill pickles. I think my mom said they were like dill garlic pickles or something like that, because that looks like garlic in there. So this is really cool. I'm excited to try those out. They look good. They look like real pickles, like, you know, the actual like pickling sort of cucumbers. So like I said, I'm super excited to try those out, because I absolutely adore garlic dill like pickles. Those are like amazing. That's what we ended up getting from her for one of our, like I said, our zucchini bread. So since we have an abundance of zucchini, we decided to, like I said, split and do that, since she had apparently an abundance of cucumbers. And we have got a couple of little cucumbers. I actually saw another tiny little baby cucumber that's like literally was like that big when I went out there to go and get the thyme out of the garden today, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. But we don't have a whole ton actually of cucumbers, but I am happy that we at least have some, because I told you guys I thought that our cucumber plant had died, and it turns out that it was just hiding in the back of all of the other stuff that's growing in front of it, and it's growing crazily out there right now. I also too, I did check, I think our summer squash actually looks like it's finally, like we're starting to get tiny little fruit on the end of the flowers, and so that's exciting, because that was one of those things that I planted kind of late, and also the acorn squash as well. So I'm thinking that we actually should be able to get some of them by the end of this year. And those, the acorn squash, I actually think I planted from seed, and I see the same thing too. Like I think they have flowered or are flowering. So like I said, we should be able to get some from that as well. We might not get like a very long harvest, especially if it continues to flower like later on, but at least if we can get some early on, you know, but late into the season, at least we'll get some. So I'm not, like I said, too upset about that. And I don't want a ton of them either. So like if we don't, if, you know, we only get some before it frosts or whatever, whatever. I'm not too upset about that because I don't know what to do with any more kind of squash, honestly, guys. The zucchini is driving me crazy. We only planted 2 zucchini plants also. I don't, like, I've planted 4 at a time and I've never gotten this much zucchini. I don't know why or where it's all coming from. But one other thing too, like I was telling you guys about the green beans, we have also an abundance of green beans. I found a recipe online where you can do sort of like pickled green beans. Not like, I think it's like dill, like pickled green beans sort of, and I was actually sort of curious about trying that recipe out because that seems pretty good to me. Like I feel like the texture of the green beans would still be fine, like it would still taste okay to me to have them like pickled. Like I was, you know, like my mom originally was like, oh, like, you know, that sounds interesting sort of thing, but I was like, honestly, like they're not, they do have a little bit of a different texture and obviously a different taste than like cucumbers, and cucumbers are just very bland, so I feel like that's why they take on a very strong taste of like, you know, the whatever you're sort of pickling them into. But I feel like pickling the, like green beans is also sort of good. So the canning though, that I think the same as those ones, is not like what do they call those, water bath canning? I think it's just like refrigerator canning, where you just basically put the stuff in the the canning jar and you just leave it in the fridge, because it wasn't sealed. So that's why I'm assuming that it was, you know, like not like you know, like pressure, you know, sealed or whatever. So, and the same thing too, the recipe that I found was just, you can use like just a jar and just, you know, do it. You don't have to make sure it's sealed and all that kind of stuff to leave it in the refrigerator, because I think it pickles in like 2 days or something like that, and you can pretty much eat them afterwards. So like I said, I'm interested to try that out because we also have a lot of dill right now, so that's why I want to do those. Also, I think those would be really, like I said, sort of tasty to try out because they're also sort of bland. They don't have a crazy like taste to them, like a crazy like strong like potent taste or anything like that. So I do feel like they'd probably be pretty like, you know, like easy to sort of like pickle, like that they'd taste good when you try and add the other flavors to it, you know, like it wouldn't be like competing with the flavor of the green beans for like, you know, making them like garlic or dill or something like that. I personally think it'd be pretty good. So like I said, I'm gonna try those out possibly just because we have a lot. And I was also thinking too about freezing some of the green beans, but like tonight for dinner, just for doing it for the side dish, I used up half of the package that I ended up like, because I have it in a freezer bag right now just in the refrigerator, but I used up half that package for dinner and we pretty much ate almost all of them. So I was like, we actually could probably just do this again and actually just steam them, because the steaming actually, like I said, I just like overcooked them sort of way longer than I would normal like green beans. And I feel like they actually, like I said, were delicious. And we had some of those royal burgundy beans too. Those were good, which they really don't taste any difference. And when you steam them too, they pretty much, other than a little bit on the inside, they almost turn into like green beans. Like they look green, they don't look purple anymore. They just look like a darker sort of green and then like regular green beans. So you honestly really can't even tell them apart or know that you're eating something different. It's just really what's off the vine. So like, you know, or stalk, I guess. Some, I think they're bush beans actually, that kind. But my scarlet runner beans finally look like they are they've flowered already, and now they're starting to get little ones off of there. But I saw a hummingbird actually eating off of the flowers from the scarlet like runner beans out there, which I thought was so stinking cute because it went to every single flower that was out there too. Like it was going and eating out of all of them, so it was so cute. But those are, like I said, finally starting to, we should get some of those. Those are the ones I'm most excited about because those are like a red, like a scarlet color. And I tried to grow them last year and I think they flowered, but I don't remember picking any last year really. I honestly don't remember picking a lot of stuff last year because I did not tend to the garden very well, which is why maybe we got way more zucchini last year and I just didn't end up finding any of it because I let it go for so long. So and maybe they just ended up like rotting in there, I don't know, because like I said, I went out there like a couple times, honestly. Like I go out there at least like 2-3 times at least a week, sometimes more. And again too, like if I'm like today I was like I need time, I just run out to the garden and go and grab it. So anyways, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.